This video is dedicated to the memory of Major Rowie Rosner, who was killed in action on January 1st, 2009, as part of Operation Cast Lead. Over the past few days, we have seen the important role that memory plays in our lives as Jews. The Sheish Zichronot, the 6 mitzvot that pertain to memory, call us to action, teach us lessons, and effect qualitative changes in our religious lives. Some memories are events that occur in our own past, and others are events that occur in the deep past, which must be reconstructed through our own searching. In the Musaf prayer for Rosh Hashanah, we recite a series of psukim that relate to the theme of zichronot, of memory. One of these is from Yirmiyahu. Yirmiyahu, in the process of describing God's relationship with the Jewish people, says the following: Haben yakir li Ephraim im yeled shashuim ki midei dabri bo zachor ez kerenu od al ken hamu me'aylo rachem acharamenu nu'um Hashem. God is speaking, and he asks rhetorically, is Ephraim a beloved son to me? Is he a child, a plaything? But the more I speak of him, the more I remember him. Therefore, my insides desire him, and I will surely have mercy on him, says Hashem. What exactly does this pasuk mean? The more God speaks about Ephraim, the more he remembers him? Doesn't God know everything? Does God need to remember things? What are we talking about here? There's a difference between latent knowledge and knowledge which is acted upon, and that seems to be the key in interpreting this pasuk. When we talk about God's zikaron, his memory, so to speak, we don't mean recalling things which have been forgotten, but rather coming closer to action, a recollection which brings closer action that's going to come in the future. And if that's the case, then the pasuk can be read or interpreted as follows. God is asking rhetorically, is Ephraim my beloved son? He's now wayward, he's now gone astray. But the more I speak of him, the closer I am pulled to action. The more I recall him, the closer I come to embracing him once again in love, and I will surely have mercy on him. The pasuk is recalling some sort of broad historical process, some sort of development where God comes closer to enveloping Ephraim, even Ephraim the wayward son, in love. And it's this historical process which we make reference to when we stand for judgment on Rosh Hashanah. We too are commanded, in our own feeble human way, to construct historical knowledge and remember the past. In Parshat Ha'azinu, the Torah tells us, Zachor yimot olam, binu shnot dor v'dor, she'al avicha v'yagedcha, zekenecha v'yomer lach. Remember the history of the world. Analyze the events of previous generations. Ask your forefathers and they'll tell you, your elders and they will say it to you. We need to look back at the history of the world and see what it teaches us. We need to seek out the knowledge of our elders and understand our people's story. Unfortunately, what in God's mind, so to speak, is an ultimately positive process, a historical arc which is leading back towards love, towards reconciliation, is, from the human perspective on history, because of its limited scope, a much more conflicted reality. It is a world of or v'choshech mishtamshim be'erbuvia, of light and darkness intertwined. We see moments of clear divine intervention, of miracles and joy and love. But together with these, we discover episodes of Hester Panim, when God conceals himself, and all we see in front of us are cruelty, pain, and confusion. This is our burden as a people that lives with God through the historical process. We must seek to make sense of the world's history and our nation's own, and draw the correct ethical and religious conclusions from the history of the world. But we are forced to recognize a limit to our abilities, that there are pieces of the historical puzzle that we simply cannot put into place, and which we can only respond to with mourning and faith. This dynamic plays itself out every year on Yom HaZikaron. For so many, the state of Israel and its independent and strong defense forces represent a clear point of culmination for our nation's history, and a very obvious and unmistakable event of divine intervention. This only serves to underscore our shock and pain at the losses of our soldiers which we have endured and continue to endure. We are a nation that lives with God, and therefore an eternal nation. Today we mourn, but we hope for the day that Yirmiyahu described, where God will wipe the tear from each weeping eye and will take us up totally and finally in his loving embrace again.